so if you are asking them something, they're going to start chiming in.
Okay. Good morning. I know that there's not a whole lot of parking out there, so people are still coming in. So this isn't the official start of the meeting, but we have over 71 people online, which is great, and then all of you guys that are here on time. So this is my best opportunity to find out how your businesses are doing and what your concerns are. So while we're kind of waiting for everyone to come in, I would love to get just your ideas and thoughts and what's happening in your industry. So we have a mic from Paula and a mic from Carl. And if you have something you'd like to tell me or ask or just update me on how your business is doing, I'd love to hear it. Anyone? You have to raise your hand so we can get the mic to you. And say your name, please.
I'm Richard Walter. I'm at Wynn Las Vegas. Things are really picking up good through October and November, and we finally, as other places probably have, we're starting to get people from the UK. We've had 3 or 4 of those already, and it's looking good going into next year.
Thank you, Richard. Anyone else like to give me an update on how your business is doing? I love hearing good news especially, but I'll take bad news if that's what you have. So let's get started then. This has been a long time for me as well. It's been a couple years, I think, since we've had the last Officiant meeting. Again, we have a Zoom and online people. For those online, make sure that you ask your questions in the chat, and then when we have a moment, we will answer your questions, and we'll have our staff. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've talked, I guess. And we'll have our staff read the questions online so everybody can understand the questions. This meeting is taped, and it will be put up on our website for people that haven't had a chance to look at it or want more. We will also send the PowerPoint that I'm going to be presenting. So a lot to cover. It's been a long time, and I'm really glad to see people back. So I have a couple instructions about how this is going to go. Make sure, did everyone sign in? Is there anyone that didn't sign in? Appreciate that. Make sure we have an update, your contact information sheet out there. You don't have to fill it out unless there's something new that has changed, either your address or your phone number or your email.
Yeah, actually, since we are going to be
Paula, yeah, you have to.
Since we are going to be renewing a lot of you at the end of next year, if you could fill the information out just so that we're sure we have correct information, that would be awesome.
We have a question up at the back.
At the desk out back.
Yeah, just a question.
We're going to talk about that.
That's one of our slides, so just hold your horses and we'll be happy to cover it in detail, and then if you have any additional questions, we will answer them at that time. So but we have the contact information forms. Please make sure that you do give us updated information. According to state law, if we try to reach out to you and we can't reach out to you, and we don't hear anything within 30 days and we have no way to reach you, then you can, your Officiant license will be revoked. So it's really important that you keep up your information with us and that we know how to get a hold of you just in case something happens. I want to introduce my team. Over there is Carl Bates, the Assistant County Manager. Paula Cook will be helping, Carl and Paula will be helping get the mic to you if you have any questions or if you've had any comments. Make sure that you put the mic really close to your mouth so that we can hear you, and your comments and questions will be recorded, which is why we want it on the microphone so it's clear for other people. So that's Paula Cook. She's my Records Administration Manager. Carolina Gomez is outside making sure that you guys sign in and get the paperwork you need. She's my new Executive Assistant. Robert Swarzowski is down there making sure that we can monitor the chat. And then Mike and Alpha and Matt up there in the booth are the technicians that will help us get through the program. So with that, we will get started. I know most of you, but for those that I haven't met yet, I am Lynn Marie Goya. I am the county clerk. It's an elected position. I've been in the position since 2015, and we have been working really strongly in my office with the wedding industry since I got into office. We saw that there was a 20% decline, or 50% decline in wedding tourism, and so we immediately started to take action. We'll talk about more about that in a little bit too. But we started the Officiant meetings and the chapel meetings so that we could interact with you, hear your concerns, hear your victories, and that we had a chance to have one-on-one conversations. So that's what this meeting is designed to today. We have information to present, but it's absolutely a reciprocal meeting. So if you have questions or concerns or things that you want to talk about, please let me know. And I think we're going to have a representative from the LVCVA show up to give us an update on what they're doing as well. I think, Paul, you need to do the clicker. It's too much. Okay, so yes, so Officiant's licenses used to be permanent, but what we found is we had a huge database of people that had died, moved, no longer were interested, and we were trying to manage a database with literally thousands of people that we had no idea how to get a hold of, or whether they were still there, or whether they were still interested. So the legislature changed it to a 5-year renewal, and this will be coming up next year. It's not something that you need to be concerned with this minute, but you can expect things to come to your office or your email somewhere in the mid next year, because the 5-year renewal will be next January, not 22, but 23. And so it's really important that you complete the paperwork, and we know that you're still active, and we know that you still want to be an Officiant. And we had talked about whether when a new Officiant applies, there's a background check. We don't really feel any need to do that. So it will just be an update, and then we want you to take the online training class or come to one of our live training classes, because we found that those are really effective in giving everyone information on things that you may not even have thought about, even though you've been an Officiant for a number of years. We've had quite a few Officiants that have been in the field for decades, that have come through the class and have really appreciated the information they've gotten. So it's kind of fun and informative, and that will be part of the renewal process. We also will be going to issue updated Officiant ID cards. So we're going to want you to have a picture that you send to us. It's basically like a passport picture, because the card is just a regular card you can carry around in your pocket. And so if you send us that, then we can put that image on the card and send it back to you. So your number will be the same, so that won't change, but you will get a new certificate, a new ID card, and we'll make sure that all your information is updated in the system so that we don't have any issues with getting in contact with you if we need to. Any questions or concerns about the 5-year renewal? Did we answer all your questions? Thank you. Oh, down here we have a question.
Okay. First of all, the picture that we sent to get the original one, do you guys still have that in your files? Okay.
Paula, you have to be mic'd or we can't hear you.
I'll get that. So to answer your question, yes, we do have the original photos, but we're going to require a new one for your renewal so that it's a current representation of you.
We found that the couples who are coming from out of state and out of country really appreciate this, because they know that they have somebody that legitimately knows what they're doing and can conduct a legal ceremony. So it's been a real benefit for the Officiants as well as our office. And I think that the couples, we've gotten good feedback from couples as well.
Yes, I have been an Officiant for many years. I never got a card. Was that something I was supposed to have? A card?
So we sent out a few emails and at the Officiants meetings telling you that if you want, you were not required to have a card.
Okay.
But with the renewal, we're going to automatically give you a new card. But you didn't have to go through the training, and you didn't have to get the ID card. We had set up, I think, at 2 or 3 Officiants meetings, the photos so that we could take them right then. But if you didn't do that, you're not penalized. But
Great.
yeah, there's no penalty, but we do feel like it's a great benefit.
Is the 5-year renewal something new? Because I've been an officiant for over that time and didn't know about the renewal because it doesn't have an expiration date on my actual license.
It is new. It was passed, I think, what was it, 2016? 2017. So 5 years from the time that we started to implement it in January of 2018. I think, yes. So this would be the first renewal process for us as well. So we're doing everything we can to make it go really smoothly. But, bear with us if there's a few glitches. You should be getting information right around June, July next year. We have, I think, 3,500 officiants registered, so we're going to try to get through to everybody. If you don't get something, that's kind of why I'm bringing it up now, even though there's nothing you can do right now. If you don't get anything, or if you have a friend that didn't get anything, just make sure they call our office, because again, if we don't have correct information, you're not really an efficient after 30 days. So we don't send out a notice, because if we could have sent out a notice, we would have been able to know how to get a hold of you. So if you don't give us contact information, you won't hear that you didn't get the contact information, because we won't have it. One more question over here.
Hang on, I need to speak in the mic so that people online can hear you.
Thank you. With respect to the picture, is that something that we must hand deliver, or will it be part of the process of the renewal where you can do it online? Just tell us about how that picture gets to you folks.
Right, you can hand deliver it, but we would prefer that you do it online. We're trying to set up a completely online application renewal process. We're still figuring that out. We have 6 months to figure it out as well. So yes, ideally it's all digital.
And I will tell you that as far as the photograph itself, we use the passport standards. So if there's any question about the type of photo that it needs to be, if you're familiar with what it is for a passport photo, we're going to have the exact same standard. Okay?
Now, is this basically for officiants or licensed minister? I'm a licensed minister, been a licensed minister for years, and I know before I didn't have to get all of this and stuff, but I got the card now.
Religious affiliation still has to be registered with the clerk's office. So you are a licensed officiant if you came through the clerk's office. And by state law, just because you're just because you're a religious leader does not mean that you can marry people without going through the clerk's office. So if you have something, that means you've already gone through the clerk's office. It wasn't major, so you may not even remember
I didn't have to if I was affiliated with a church and I had been. And
you do have to.
oh,
every
pastor,
anyone,
associate.
correct.
Okay.
Anyone who marries people in the state of Nevada has to be a licensed officiant through the county clerk of the county that they live in. And then you can marry people throughout Nevada once you are a licensed officiant, but you go through the county clerk of the county that you live in. So yes, everyone, including religious affiliations.
Yes, if you've gotten notices, emails from your office, that means you're still okay as far as your registration and everything?
If you're here today, we probably know that your information is up to date. But just, if you know someone, you guys, unless you were told by a friend to come here, if you get a notice from us, that's all we need. We need to be able to reach out to you for things like this, to let you know what we're doing. And, sometimes laws change, and so we have a meeting where we make sure that you're updated with any laws that impact you or marrying people.
So I can see people taking pictures of the screens. We are going to email this out.
Yeah, you do not need to do that. We will be giving you the PowerPoint with live links to some of the things that we're going to show you in a bit. So the links will be live on the PowerPoint that we send out to you.
So just to follow up on your question about contact information, while we might have your email address that's correct, we might not have your mailing address that's correct or your phone number. So that's why people who have been officiant for 15, 20 years and have moved and never updated that information with our office, you need to do that by law. So that's what we're saying. If you're unsure with what you have on file with us as far as your email, your phone, or your mailing address, just fill the form out that you have and leave it with us, or send it to our office to make sure that we have all the correct information.
Any other questions about, any chat questions, Robert? Okay,
Yes?
okay, next
No? No.
slide, next. Oh, one more, I'm sorry.
Apologize for interrupting. You might. I just was wondering, what's the wedding status here in Las Vegas?
We will get to that in a minute.
Oh,
Okay, so next slide, yeah. So office updates, we actually are having a couple office updates. As you know, during COVID, we had to close all the offices, including the first floor here. That's been reopened for a few months. I think we opened up the Henderson office again in, I think, September. And then the big news is we haven't had an office in Mesquite for over a decade, and we are going to be opening up an office in Mesquite. So we hope to attract a number of those people from, Utah and Arizona to the Mesquite office. So that will be opening, I think, January 6th will be a ribbon cutting. All of you are invited if you would like to attend, and welcome Mesquite back to the fold. We are going to do the airport, the pop-up airport marriage license bureau at the airport that we've done, I think, for fourth year now. This will be our fourth year. We are going to be open from February 10th to the 22nd in the same location that we've always had. And again, you're welcome to stop by and say hi to everybody. And last year we had somebody that was an Elvis officiant that came and sang to people for a while. So that was really fun as well. The airport's really excited about it. They've been really generous with us and receptive, and we've been, been a great partner. So they're excited, we're excited, and of course February has all those really great dates next year, so we expect it to be pretty busy. We don't publish our hours at the locations that much because things changed, and we are down in Laughlin again. So if you have any questions, just go to the website and look for the updates there. But just because it's been COVID doesn't mean we haven't been doing anything. So we, shut all our offices, but the main marriage license bureau, we took all of our services and did them, customer services, and did them through the marriage license bureau during COVID. We were the first marriage license bureau in the state to shut down. We were shut down for 6 weeks. We were from mid-March until I think April 27th. When we opened on the 27th, we had a line all the way from wrapping around the stairs all the way to Starbucks. So we had to move the line the other direction. It's been busy ever since. Have you guys also seen quite a bit of activity even during last year during COVID? Raise your hand if your business has been pretty busy. So? Okay, well, good. So we also have been working with PR Plus to help us get media out. We got a lot of media because we were open during COVID when a lot of states still are having restrictions in their marriage license bureaus. We immediately took, and this was before everybody knew all the protocols we were supposed to do, but we immediately, during that shutdown, figured out what we were supposed to do to keep everyone safe. That's why we now have someone staying in the marriage lobby, License Bureau lobby, to meet and greet people to make sure there's not too many people in the lobby at the same time. We have sanitation, we clean after everyone, and we established those protocols and sent them out to the other marriage license bureaus throughout the state so that they could follow what we were doing. And then when we reopened, or actually during the closing, we also met with a number of the chapels, and we came up with safety protocols for the chapels, same kinds of things. At the time, nobody knew quite what we were supposed to do, so we were doing our best, but I am happy to say that I have not heard of any wedding-related COVID outbreak in Clark County. So that is really good news, and it got us a lot of attention because it was a safe place where people could come to get married, even during these really dire times. Because of that, primarily a lot of COVID stories, but then also a lot of our how busy we were. We got stories. Oops, I'm sorry. Next, Paula. Yeah, we got a lot of national press some international press and a lot of local press. Brides Magazine, Forge, Thrillist, the LA Times, Travel Weekly, all of that was all media that was generated in 2020 during COVID. And then this year, we've also continued to get a really great amount of press. We got, I don't know if you guys saw it, and we still haven't received a copy of it, even 12 months later. Someone was out rock climbing at Red Rock. They drove by the Marriage License Bureau, saw the big line, and called and asked what the deal was. And it was a photographer from the New York Times. And so from that generated a business story, full page, front page business story in the Sunday section of the New York Times about Las Vegas weddings and what we were doing, our safety protocols, and the surge that we have seen here. So that was really big news and great press. And we've also got, when we did the 4321, we got picked up by every media there was. I had people calling me and saying, you know, you were in my local paper. I saw you on TV in other states. So that, again, generated a huge amount of press for Clark County, and I think that it's been a really positive thing for us. As you know, we got a wedding tourism fund in 2015, and it's generating about $1 million, a little bit over $1 million a year. From that fund, though, we were only getting $12,000 a year until this fiscal year 22, when we got $250,000. With that, we were really able to do a lot more. Again, working with a public relations company to make sure that when we were doing something, people knew about it, that helped generate all that press that we have received. We're working with a globally recognized business development partner, and what we'd like to do with that is, we'll tell you a little bit more going on, but you know, if you have friends and family from your hometown or from a foreign country that wants to get a little bit of the action from Las Vegas, they can set up a small business in that location, you know, bring in couples and work with you guys to make sure that it's a great wedding, and then they benefit, we benefit, and the couples benefits. And we're in a position now where we can really help you do that. Excuse me. We've also worked with the Nevada Preservation Foundation and some other historians to really research, you know, how did we become the wedding capital of the world? And we're going to be coming out with some things on that should be really fun and I think newsworthy. And then we're in talks with a major social media company that will help us get the word out again, especially the things that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. And we want you guys to participate with this kind of stuff. So the more we can do and that you can amplify by, you know, sending out more information. If we send out a press link, or if you see a press link, an easy thing to do is to subscribe to Vegas Weddings and Vegas Marriage on Google so that you get notifications if something comes out. If something comes out, put it on your social media to your group, and that will really help expand and amplify what we are doing to help improve the industry and build us back to our 2004 levels, which were our peak. With that, we're also working really closely with the Las Vegas Wedding Chamber of Commerce. I can't obviously, as an elected official, you know, reach out to you and say, you know, I want to promote your business, but through the chamber, we are working with them to, a lot of these stories had people from the Las Vegas Wedding Chamber of Commerce as featured article participants. And so they've gotten a lot of state and national recognition through that. And that's a partnership that I can absolutely work with. So if you aren't a member of the chamber, please join the chamber so that when we have these press opportunities, we can reach out to your business and you know, have you interviewed and have you part of the story. Next. So with that, all that we've been doing, even during COVID, as people have been here a while know that even though our visitor volume has been increasing over the last 40 years, weddings did not increase. Weddings went down. So this is what this chart said. It's not the same value. Theirs is in millions, ours is in thousands. So just take that. But you can see that the yellow line is the trend line for visitor volume. It kept going up, whereas since 2000, and if you put your thumb over 2004 and 5, it was a straight trend line down from 2000. But during COVID, we were only down 23% when they were down well over 50%. So we felt very good about that. And then this year, next slide. We think we are on track to actually outperform 2019. Not 2020 with COVID, but our 2019 year was pre-COVID. And we're doing really well. We are actually already have the same amount of licenses that we did in 2019. So all of December will be an uptick from 2019. And we definitely believe that that's based on all your participation, all the media that we've gotten, and all the efforts that the industry has done with us and the LVCVA and the other partners to really promote weddings again. And with your help, we can really make a major splash next year. So any questions about trends or anything like that? We had some questions, I think, earlier. I think the ship's turned. That's my goal. You can't, obviously, one data point is not a trend yet, but I think the ship's turned and we're on our way to recovery again. I'm very excited about that. Next. So next year, oops, I kind of did these out of order, I see. Next year, we're on track to issue our 5 millionth wedding license for Clark County since it was founded in 1909. So I have wanted to make a major push about this, and I've been reaching out to everybody that will talk to me, basically. And yeah, we kind of gonna have to go forward and backwards, I think. So yeah, go back to this one. So one of the things that we've been wanting to do is make the Marriage License Bureau more attractive and more Instagrammable, because when we do Instagram, then that goes out to all the couples, family, and friends, and it's a very great marketing opportunity for us. So what we've done is we have reached out to a number of artists, muralists that are around town. We've selected one, and we're getting negotiations with that person, and we should be able to have a mural on that wall, hopefully by the middle of February. And again, we want you to encourage your couples to do a photo and put it on their Instagram or put it on their TikTok, or whatever they want to do. And again, just to make it more fun to come through the Marriage License Bureau, which is part of the experience of getting married in Las Vegas. The next one. And then we've been working really closely with the city of Las Vegas, and they've become a great partner to us as well. One of the things that we talked about was doing a sculpture. So Life is Beautiful had this heart, and they donated it to the city, and the city wants to install it as a permanent art installation right at the corner of Clark and 3rd, which is the entry to the Marriage License Bureau. We are very excited about this. Again, it's big enough that people will be able to stand in the middle and take a picture. We're hoping that if you take the picture through the arch, that you'll be able to see the mural through it as well. Maybe even the Marriage License Bureau sign. Again, it's Instagrammable. It's something that should be really fun. And then it also serves as a great sign, because we have a lot of couples that come to the Marriage License Bureau, but they go all the way around to the Lewis Street entrance, go through security, and then are told, oh, you have to go back outside and go in anyway. So this will kind of give them a better location as to how to find the Marriage License Bureau and make it easier for couples, take a little of the stress off the RJC, and make it more fun. So that we hope to have, again, by mid-February. And we're working out some of the logistical details, but I'm very excited about it. And thank Olivia Diaz for this. She has been a huge help. The other thing I've been talking about for decades, it seems like, is Wedding Way. And again, I've been working with Councilwoman Diaz from the city of Las Vegas about doing Wedding Way. They had already started a program that was Brewery Row and Restaurant Row, so they want to use the word row instead of way. That's fine with me. And so this is where you guys will be able to participate a little bit. We hope again to have this by mid-January. And that's the banner that they plan to put up. They've committed to 20 banners. We haven't finalized the location within the city limits of Las Vegas, there's 49 chapels. They won't necessarily be in front of a specific chapel, and again, we're working on the details. They're doing a lot of construction. They don't know which lights they're going to be available, but hopefully we'll have 20 banners up by mid-January, which is really exciting. How you can participate. So the picture in the middle, so the wedding row and the downtown will be static, but the picture will change. So each banner will have its own picture, and we would love you guys to send us high-res images that you think would be understandable, viewable from a distance. It's going to be a banner, and from those, we will select images to put on the banner, and potentially we could even change them out over time. So that's really exciting. They need to be high-res images. Again, something that's understandable. You don't want a really complicated image that, when you're driving by, you won't be able to figure out what it is. Your brain can't process it. Something like that. It doesn't have to be a close-up, but it does have to be very kind of simple and clear. And those will go up and down the strip in Wedding Row, and we'll make a major announcement about that. And we think that that's just a great thing that we have been working on. And remember, for those of you that have chapels in the city of Las Vegas, so a couple years ago, we were able to, again, work with, I think it was Olivia, to change their redevelopment fund law, because chapels were excluded because they were kind of coupled with bars and strip clubs and those kinds of things that had a privilege license. So we were able to extract chapels from that. So if you are doing some redevelopment on the outside of your chapel, please reach out to the city and try to take advantage of these redevelopment funds to help you fund, improvements. If you want to fix your signage, those kinds of things. And again, that would be probably Councilwoman Diaz. This is her district. So work with her, and if you, again, it's for businesses, chapel businesses that are within the city limits of Las Vegas. Any questions? Oh, next. Yeah, this is, so one second, and then I'll get your question. This is an image of the chapels that are listed with the city of Las Vegas. In the very back, he's going to have a question. But there's more chapels than this, obviously. So once you get the image, there's a live link at the bottom, and you'll be able to look, at it at your either closer or further away, so that you can see whether your chapel is listed. Please make sure that if you guys are within the city of Las Vegas, that all your information is correct here as well, so that when we put this map out, that it will be up to date. So just make sure all your information, if you know there's a chapel that closed or that opened, let us know so that we can make sure the map is as up to date as possible. What we did is we got this from Las Vegas Business Licensing with the word chapel in it. So if you don't have the word chapel in your name, we might have missed it as well. So again, just help us make sure we have as good a list as possible. I think Carl wants to say something.
Yeah, there was an online question about if somebody submits a picture, will they be notified that their picture was selected? So you might want to just speak a little bit about, we're still trying to flesh out all the details, but.
I never thought about that. You probably see it. There's only 20. I don't know. We'll have to just ask, because the city, this is a city banners. They're doing it as a partnership with us, but we aren't really in charge of it. They're kind of in charge of it. So what we're going to do is submit pictures to them, and from those pictures, they're going to select the ones that they want. We can, I don't know. I'll have to ask that. I don't know. Good question.
Okay. I was able to answer that.
Okay, and then this is a Google map right now. We're trying to figure out the details of how to do kind of a comprehensive map of where all the chapels are that we can, again, provide to couples, make it easier for them. Okay, next, Polly. Yeah. So, around the 5 millionth wedding license, we are doing a major promotion. Again, this is something I've been talking about for a really long time, so you guys probably think you know everything, but what we've been trying to do is get all the details in place so that we can then open it up for your participation, because we really want this to be a major participation. And really any business that benefits from wedding tourism can benefit from this promotion. So whether you're a restaurant or lodging or a spa or flowers or photography, so all of the vendors that you work with, we'd really like you to let them know about this and get them to participate. So what we're going to do is we expect, we can't determine it, but we expect the 5 millionth license to be issued sometime around Valentine's Day, frankly, like a week or two before or a week or two after. Obviously, the closer we get, the more we'll know. But because of that, and because February is always one of our special months, we're going to have the county commission declare February as wedding month. And around that, we want to just make sure that couples are particularly told thank you, because weddings have been a part of our industry, a part of our town since 1921 when what's her name? Greta Garbo. Yeah, Greta Garbo's main squeeze got married here. And Hollywood has been coming here for decades, almost 100 years. And we've been the wedding capital, as far as we can tell, about 70 years. So that's a long time to hold that kind of a stature. And it's a global industry that's known around the world. It's frankly Las Vegas's only #1 brand, which is weddings. You talk about weddings and everybody thinks about Las Vegas, and that's what we want to continue. But how do you get that? It's because couples come here. And so we want to make couples understand that they're part of our history, that they're part of what made Las Vegas Las Vegas. Without the wedding industry, I don't think we would be quite the global brand that we are now. And we want to say thank you. So in February, what can you do to say thank you? We obviously want you to do wedding packages and those kinds of things, but not just a 15% discount or something like that. Maybe you just give them an unexpected something, a champagne, flute, or an extra set of flowers, or a 17 by 11 picture, something that they aren't expecting, that just says, thank you. We appreciate you. We wouldn't be here without you, and we're glad you chose us. And so particularly in February, we are looking for promotions and ideas and ways that we can say thank you. Encourage your couples to walk around in their wedding gowns and their tuxedos so that the industry and the whole community can also say thank you to this, this group that made us who we are today. So that's basically what I wanted to say about Wedding Month. We have a link and a special package with the LVCVA. I don't know if he's here or not. There we go, Ramon. So Ramon will be up in a little bit at the end of the presentation and talk about specifically. But if you have a wedding package in February or beyond, make sure that you send it to the LVCVA with a direct link to that package so that they can include it in their promotions, because they have really become a strong partner this year in this whole effort, and we're very grateful for that. Any questions about Wedding Month? So next, the 5 millionth license celebration. Again, we don't know which day exactly. Right now, it looks like mid-February. It'd be really exciting if it was actually Valentine's Day, but Valentine's Day gets a lot of excitement already. We want to honor that particular couple. Some of the donations we have commitments to so far are a pair of diamond rings for the male and, for both partners. An all-expense paid trip back to our 5 Million Love Stories party, which I'll talk about in a second. We want to do like a balloon drop. Actually, on the February stuff, this is an industry secret. We want you to tell all your family and friends, but not anybody else. We want to make sure that when we do make these announcements, that the press and the community is surprised. But secretly, let's build it to what we can. But so please don't let this stuff out beyond, the industry specific, because we want to keep it really exciting and fun. So we want to do like a balloon drop or just some really fun things. If you have ideas about that, I'd love to hear them as well. We are working on special certificates, maybe silver coming up, going up to the 5-month license, and maybe a gold certificate. We're trying to figure out how to print on it, which I'm not sure we can, so maybe we'll just do a special thing and give them a 4th document instead of just the 3 document. We're really excited about it, but there's a lot to do between now and then. And again, your ideas and your participation are really asked for, sought. So let me know. Anybody have any questions or thoughts? We have one down here, Paula.
What number are we at now? You might have already mentioned it, but I missed it. What number are we at now? Does anybody know?
Well, yeah.
I don't know
That's
the
Paula.
exact number off the top of my head, but it's really hard because of what's going on right now with COVID and the international travel. So we've got several different models that we're predicting trends, and the only thing really I can say is our best guess is the last 2 weeks of February really is our target time frame right now. So that's about all I can tell you. If you want to see numbers as they go month by month, so tomorrow we'll be publishing November's numbers, and you'll have up to date for that. That's about really all I want to say, because it's really hard with international. The one thing I will say about international is that before November 8th, when the travel restrictions got listed, we were less than 1%. Now, typically international couples make up somewhere between 15 and 20% of our overall licenses. So that tells you how many were down in the international market alone. Since November 8th, it's somewhere between 7 and 8% as far as the number of customers that are foreign tourists. So some of them have come back, but nowhere near what we used to have in 2019. So hopefully that trend will continue to rise.
Yeah, and if we're really busy, it'll be earlier, and if we get another huge COVID outbreak where everything shuts down, we'll be later. Oops.
When you put that heart up down there by the Marriage License Bureau, will ministers get arrested for doing a wedding there in front of
Yes,
that?
yes.
They'll
That
be
is not a
arrested?
wedding location.
Oh, it'll be good publicity, I guess. No.
Yeah, getting arrested. But
Okay.
no, we're not
Yeah.
letting anybody park in front of the
Yeah.
Heart and do all
I'm
their
sure
weddings.
they'll be standing out there
Nope.
doing weddings.
Nope,
So,
nope.
okay.
Nope. Thanks for asking, though. I appreciate you clarifying that.
So just to to understand, so the idea behind the 5 millionth license celebration, if you're doing a balloon drop, that it's essentially that when that person gets their 5 millionth license, that a balloon drop will happen, media exposure, they'll be given diamond rings and a trip, correct? So conceivably?
Yes, conceivably. I mean, nothing's in stone yet.
And it's, oh, sure, and it's all in Clark County, correct? It's a Clark County.
All Clark County,
Right.
yes.
So what happens if
absolutely.
that 5 millionth wedding license is gotten in Laughlin or Mesquite?
We're figuring that out. No, this is not necessarily easy. Yeah. We're trying to figure all that out because obviously you can't set up in all those locations either. And one thing, we want the media there, so are they going to drive an hour and a half to go to Mesquite? No. So we will make sure that it happens at the Marriage License Bureau. I mean, it's going to be a real 5 millionth license, but there's no way we can do that. They just can't. I think we had another question down here below.
Would you allow the 5 millionth couple to marry right there at the Heart?
No.
No?
No. And, we don't want 1,000 people at their marriage. We don't want to do a countdown so it's 5 from now, So we can't do that because everybody would try to be that couple. So we can't do that. So it has to be a little bit more subtle than that. On the other hand, we are going to do a press release probably in January to say, you could be the couple. We also, not everybody wants public. This is a couple that we're going to have to, be a spokesperson for the industry. So there will be a little bit of, ensuring that they want to do it, because even with the 20,000th and the 10,000th same gender couple that we did, when we said, well, you will be this, they said, no, I don't want to. So we just asked them to wait and, not be that couple then, because not everybody is comfortable. And so we want to make sure that they're comfortable and happy with this as well.
Yeah, going back to the heart sign, is that going to be lit at night with?
It's not lit by itself, but I think, but it's by a light pole. And so the city, we've been talking about like a light spotlight or something. We're trying to figure that out as well. I mean, there are some logistics to it. Yes.
And I have one more other question. The other question is, I anticipate a lot of people are going to have pictures there, and it's going to be crowded and dangerous. I'm guessing because of the Las Vegas sign and how that developed into a big tourist attraction. I don't know. That's.
Yeah, again, all these things we're trying to figure out. Yeah, everything isn't simple, but we want to make sure that it's all positive. Do we have any other questions? Okay, and again, we're going to be sending out something, I think in mid-January, about, announcing that we're approaching our 5 millionth couple. And what we encourage you to do, we will draft a couple sentences that you can put on your letterhead and you can send out to your couples and clients and your former couples as well. So we want you to use this and spread it on social media, and you put it out to your list to help promote your business, because often what happens if you send out to someone that's already been married, information that's already been married, then they might know somebody that wants to get married and they do referrals. So it's good for your business, it's good for the community, and it's good for Clark County industry. So as part of the 5 million celebration, it's not just going to be that couple. It's not just going to be wedding month. What we're trying to do is make like a year-long celebration of different activations that are really exciting. And one of the things that we want to do is give a huge party and thank you to all the couples that were married in Clark County already. And that doesn't mean if they were married 20 years ago, or if they were married yesterday, or if they were, celebrating their 50th anniversary. As a matter of fact, we would love to have, some of the stories about long married couples, because the media likes to say, well, everybody comes to Clark County and get married and then they want to get divorced the next day. And I don't think that that's true. We've had a lot of celebrity weddings that have lasted, 50 years until one of the partner passed away. Anne Margaret, her husband, just died right after their 50th anniversary. Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward, Kirk Douglas and his wife, they both passed away. They were married 65 years. So we have a lot of very long-lived and long married couples, and we would like to make sure that we get some more of those stories. So again, we really encourage you on these, when we send you out something, send it to your list, and especially send them an invitation to this special event that we're planning on Labor Day in next September. So it's going to be a huge celebration. We found out from Guinness the largest vow renewal in the world was I think 1,300, so we want to do a vow renewal for 1,500 couples, which would be 3,000 people. Caesars is very graciously offered to sponsor the event, no cost except for their hard costs. There will be food and music and celebration and special fun things. This is another place where you can participate, particularly if you have some entertainment or flowers. We might have spontaneous booths not spontaneous booths, we might have booths where people can like build a bouquet, or magicians walking around, or Elvis singing, or the Rat Pack interacting with people. We're talking with some really fun bands that, maybe we can get to play during the celebration, and then the resorts are talking about working with their partners, their entertainment partners, to maybe stop by and sing a song or things like that. So it should be a really, really fun party, but we want you to use it as an opportunity to reach out to those people that you have married and invite them and tell them it will be really fun. And again, it's a great promotion for you, but it's also a great promotion for us. So we're talking with Guinness to see if we can do a Guinness Book of World Records, but we can do it with or without Guinness. And we want you to send invitations to your couples and invite them and tell them how grateful we are that they're part of this pretty exclusive club, frankly. You know, there's millions, billions of people in the world. Most of them got married at some point in their life. And 5 million of them will have gotten married in Clark County. So that's actually a fairly small group. And we want to let these people know that this is a special group. We appreciate you. And we want you maybe to get to know other couples that chose Las Vegas, because that's kind of a special thing. And we appreciate you. So we will also need volunteers. I think if we're doing with Guinness, they're very strict on counting. So we might need up to like 160 volunteers to help kind of corral these couples into manageable groups that we can count during the vow renewal. And if you have ideas on how you want to participate, please let me know so that we can try to include you. Any questions? I'm sorry.
You're going to do it?
I think it'll be really fun. I'm really excited about the whole thing. Next. So again, we have been very busy. We realized that we've been using Wedding Capital of the World, but it hasn't been trademarked. So the county trademark, we're in the process of trademark it. We filed the trademark for Wedding Capital of the World, and we're real excited about that. And with that, we've gotten a logo that, again, if you guys, you know, we're a public agency. If you want to use these things, just let us know so that we can, you can put it on your literature as well. There's some brand standards that tell you colors and all those kinds of things. So let me know if you want to use any of this stuff that we've been developing. And again, like when we do social media and some of those kinds of things, we'd like to incorporate it with your stuff, or if you incorporate our stuff with yours to kind of increase the reach on everything. So this was a little bit out of order, but we also, it was announced at the 11/2 or November 2nd meeting where we branded, and actually got news just for that, which was surprising to us. So we really quickly did the process of branding it so that somebody else didn't come up with that idea based on ours. Next. And then we've been working, so the MLIC.Vegas site that we've had for about 5 years has been great. Have you guys all used it with the QR code on your literature or anything? Raise your hand if you've been using it and if it's been helpful. But we realized it's limited. One of the things that we get all the time is, you know, where should we go get married? Obviously, we're not going to tell anybody where they should go get married. But again, we're partnering with the Wedding Chamber of Commerce to expand who they are and who we are, and we came up with a new website. It's a customer service, it's not a portal, I guess, but it's a customer service portal, so all of our services will be available through this, but we wanted to increase our wedding coverage to get people more information about why Las Vegas is the wedding capital of the world. We have articles that people, you know, help them. We're the destination wedding capital of the world, frankly. So we want, how do people travel and get married, and how do you make it easier on them? How do you make it easier to deal with their family and friends? So the articles will be related around the knowledge and the expertise that you guys already have. You guys do this all day, every day. And so nobody knows more about how to do wedding than our industry, our local people. So we want to make sure that we highlight your information. If you have story ideas, let me know so that we can try to get those in. And we're really excited about that. That should be, we're waiting on one more piece of legal before we announce that. It's weddings.vegas, and it will replace MLIC.Vegas. And so MLIC.Vegas will forward to this. We also got weddingcapital.com. which will also forward to the site, and I'm really excited about it. This is how it will look on mobile, so it was designed for mobile first, because we know that most people actually do all their information mobile. They'll be able to go directly and apply for their marriage license through this site, but they'll also get all the information that they need, like, when are your hours, where is your location, all of the basics information that they need.
Lynn, just one question from online. Actually, a lot of people are asking. So how do they communicate with us to get this information, logos, information on the branding and all that stuff with the new website? Send an email to clerkofficiants@clarkcountynv.gov, okay, and we'll filter it out and get back to you. Thank you.
And again, we're going to send you this PowerPoint. There'll be a lot of contact information in there, and you guys know how to get a hold of us. I know that for a fact. And then I really want to do a huge shout out to the LVCVA. They have become a great partner this year, Ramon. Ramon Montez has been leading the effort from the LVCVA side on weddings, and one of the things they did is they came up with Forever Happens Here, which we think is a great promotion. It's the first national campaign that we have had on weddings, and we're very excited about it. The other thing they did that we are very excited about is they put weddings on their homepage. So that apparently has increased their interaction, and we're very excited about it. So they're doing some other things that I want you to know about, how you can participate and how you can get your information on their sites as well. And so I'm turning it over to the expert of Ramon Montez.
I do the video? Do you know when I get to it? So, okay. Oh, just when I get to volume, if there, yeah. Yeah, so real quickly, thank you, Lynn, for the introduction and kind words. Just wanted to give you an update on what we've been doing with the campaign to promote weddings throughout the destination. Forever Happens Here complements our overall destination campaign. If you recall, in January, prior to the pandemic, we relaunched our brand campaign for Las Vegas. We actually changed the tagline. So now our tagline is, what happens here only happens here. And then with the wedding program, we've titled it appropriately, Forever Happens Here. And the creative that we use, it's a purple neon. It reflects everything that Vegas is about: adult freedom, come as you are, whatever brings you here, whatever you want to celebrate, whatever your background, personality is. There's something that fits you in Las Vegas, and you belong here. And we feel very much that weddings, the services you provide, all of our vendors have those same sentiments. Right? So no other wedding destination in the world can offer what Las Vegas offers. The amount of wedding venues, the flexibility, the ease of getting a wedding license. So whatever your wedding preference is, Las Vegas can fulfill your ceremony and your reception needs. So we've been working with Lynn and the clerk's office along with wedding industry professionals on this campaign for about 5 years now. Back in 2016, we did research prior to launching the campaign. So Lynn has graciously shared data from who's getting married here, and we also did some secondary and tertiary research, and we found that Las Vegas fills a lot of voids for people when they're doing wedding shopping. But there were some things that the things that held them back about weddings was they were concerned that maybe a Vegas wedding is less authentic than if they did in their hometown or somewhere else, like Hawaii, California, or Florida. But also there were some stereotypes built in from mass media. Things like Britney Spears having a drunk wedding to Jason Alexander years ago and getting it annulled. Things like that also didn't help. So the point of this brand campaign, at least a component of it when we launched it, is that weddings here are as meaningful as you do anywhere else, right? Whether you have it at a church and have a reception elsewhere, like when I got married, or even if you're just having a simple ceremony or you're doing the drive-through wedding, weddings are as meaningful here as anywhere else. So on top of that, the amount of and there was also one point I wanted to point out was there was also concern that Las Vegas might overshadow the couple or overshadow the wedding overall. There's some responses we saw from focus groups that guests might be distracted and those sort of concerns. But so we talked about more and flipped that and created narratives that Las Vegas, in that sense, Las Vegas has actually can create a lot of ease for you, right? So when you have your wedding here and you have your friends and family come in, Las Vegas will take care of them. You don't have to worry about entertaining them, what hotel, if there's enough hotels, if there's a flight coming from their city. Our connectivity and our number of hotel rooms can fulfill that. And lastly, the research also showed a very interesting data point was that when people did get married here, we asked them what other destinations, what other destination components they were looking at before they decide Las Vegas. And one of the top responses was a beach wedding, a tropical wedding, a poolside or water element type of wedding. So we've been pushing that a lot, saying you can have a beach wedding here. We have Mandalay Beach. You can have, or a number of the golf courses, Canyon Lake, or Canyon Gate. There's a lot of water elements you can still do here. Lake Las Vegas with Reflection Bay. The Mirage, you can have a tropical wedding. So those sort of components we've stressed a lot in the visuals and the content we've been creating. So that led us to Forever Happens Here. This is our campaign we launched officially. We launched it just 2 weeks ago, and we were sort of waiting on timing, getting through the pandemic. But as Lynn showed, weddings have been very busy. Even once we got the city back open, there's a high demand, and now's the time to strike. If you read some of the newspapers, there's different counties throughout California, which is our top market, where there's such a backlog to get your wedding license. In some counties, I think was it Santa Clara, Santa Barbara, it can take up to a week or two just to get your license. And that's where we're doing specific paid media targeting to say, hey, you don't have to wait. You can get your license today and do your wedding. Another big thing is because of the pandemic, so many weddings and some of you might know, so many weddings got rescheduled to this year and the following year because people were waiting and waiting. They didn't want to have masks at their weddings. Totally understand. They didn't want restrictions. They wanted to just have the wedding of their dreams. So this year and in a lot of other states, what they're seeing is it's very, very compact. There's very little availability. There's either Saturdays and Sundays aren't taken, so couples who are looking and shopping other cities might have to do a Wednesday, a midweek wedding to just get the space. Whereas Las Vegas, we have the venue, the type of venue you're looking for. We have the availability. We have the resort professional staff, the industry staff to service your wedding. So all you have to do is literally sign a paper, let them plan it for you. And in addition, in a lot of places, our pricing is also a lot more flexible than as opposed to like in New York and things like that. So those are a lot of the narratives and talking points that we stress. Those are our strengths at the destination, and we just want to make sure we communicate that through our program. So I'm just going to give you some visuals of the campaign and the story we're sort of telling. So this is our launch creative. As I said, we launched 2 weeks ago. And then we did a production shoot almost a couple months ago now throughout the destination to highlight, again, going back to highlighting all the different types of wedding venues and more important that are unique to the destination, but also highlighting the diversity of couples and then the diversity of personalities that sort of make up a wedding couple. So this is our first spot, Forever Happens Here. We had 2 versions. This is our first version here. And it's a 15-second spot. We call this pre-roll. So these are spots that run on paid media. These are things that you'll see on YouTube that run right before your video as an ad.
And I can't stop to breathe.
And then this is our second version. We shot at 7 different locations, so we just want to make sure we have different versions to show all the locations, and then we optimize towards the best performing.
And I can't stop to breathe.
So in addition to those videos, we also captured a lot of still images. Almost each of those locations, we have about 200 to 300 different still images, a lot of different posing, a lot of different elements with wedding cakes and the dancing. This couple here, this is at the top of the Nobu Villa. We wanted to get a shot of the Vegas skyline. In the past, we've had assets like that. It identifies the location. They perform really well. And also, our directors that we commissioned for this production was actually a married couple, so they do a lot of, they are leaders in industry with posing theory and getting very authentic emotions out of people on productions like this. And all of our talent that we use are all real couples. So that really helped get that natural emotion and love out of them. So they were either married, engaged, or had been dating for a while. And this couple specifically, they are actually a local couple, Hispanic couple, and they actually have their own dance studio, so they did a lot of this dancing for us. So we were really happy with the way that this turned out. And this is another element, another video we cut. As Lynn pointed out, as another important component of this campaign is leading up to the 5 millionth wedding license. So we're going to start rotating in creative that's sort of piggybacks on that and creates excitement as we're targeting wedding planners throughout the country. So this is sort of a lead up to that. So as we start rolling out Wedding Month and we sort of roll out all the activities and ways to promote 5 million, the 5 million weddings, our tagline is called 5 million love stories and counting. And what this is meant to convey is this is why we're the wedding capital of the world. No other destination has done 5 million weddings. It's proof that the amount of weddings we're doing, and it's encouraging you to be a part of that story. And that's why we're saying and counting. Come here and be a part of the wedding capital of the world. And yeah, so on our main page, visitlasvegas.com, Lynn pointed out we did add weddings to the main navigation. So this is our main website for all of our tours who come to Las Vegas. So those who are coming to Las Vegas, whether for a Golden Knights game, just to wine and dine, whatever their trip is, this is our main website, visitlasvegas.com. So weddings is in the main nav. We've always had a web page curated with wedding content. So we're continually to add more content on there. And we do that very strategically. If you look on there, there are articles, there's frequently asked questions section, and we are always looking at what search terms Google is being populated in Google and what's trending. So that way we're very on topic. Throughout the pandemic, we were creating articles specific about mini-monies, sequel weddings. Those were things that people were looking for. Like, okay, I'm not going to have my full wedding during the pandemic. I want to do a mini money. That was something that not gave us insight of what was trending. A sequel wedding. So people have gotten married back home in their backyard. They did a smaller ceremony with their family. And next year, they're planning to have their full reception of their dreams. So things like that, we're always making sure we're on top of. So that way we're meeting our engagement stats. There is a fun new, what we're calling the wedding generator. If you're familiar on Facebook and different things, there's popular this is like a personality type quiz. So people can click on it and it asks things just like, how do you like to start your morning? One is like definitely with coffee, a morning run, all these just personality type questions you answer. And at the end of it, let me see. So it goes through favorite thing to watch on TV. It's, again, not scientific, very fun. And when you get to the end, it will populate what type of wedding personality or what your wedding style is. So I'm going to go ahead and play a video. This is a video we're also doing to help promote this. So it's just to give you a little idea of how we're communicating this out. And we're pushing this out through social media as well. So through your Instagram stories, if you've ever done that, you can interact with people's stories and it'll ask you a question. Do you like modern? Do you like arts whimsical? And then you can click yes or no and we'll drive those to the wedding quiz here. It's really small, but if I'll read some of it to you. For one example, it says air of nostalgia on the upper right there. And we show a shot of downtown. We show the cactus garden. We have boho chic, romantic whimsy, intimate escape, and modern classic. So modern classic there, we have the Love Atrium. We have the Waldorf, the top of the Naboo, that villa shot we did. And again, what it's meant to do here is for people to engage with our content, to make it fun, but also at the end to give you an idea that, oh wow, this actually is something I'm interested in. And hey, take a look, like Vegas has every type of wedding you can think of, and we have the venue and setting for you. So lastly, though, as I wanted to reiterate, we are making new developments to the website. We are creating a offers tool similar that we have for the hotel pages, but we're doing ones for wedding packages, so wedding venues. So if you do have a wedding package or ceremony package that you like to promote, please, you can go ahead and email me. I'll share my information after a meeting, or when Lynn distributes the information, I'll attach my contact information, as well as more information on the campaign. But we're excited to launch that, so that way we can start driving referrals when people are on our website. We can drive them directly to your businesses and things like that. Any questions on the campaign?
I do normal weddings, but I also do cannabis weddings. Would you be taking that on board on your website?
And what is your business? Are you just an officiant?
No, I'm an officiant, but
Okay.
I also run Las Vegas cannabis weddings.
Yeah, we can talk more on our website because we are funded by room tax. We right now, like even on our consumer, we're not promoting cannabis. We actually don't promote cannabis. We have certain guidelines. We don't promote excessive drinking. We don't ever say Sin City. So we have certain guidelines we can't do, but we can look and find ways to at least maybe drive referral without having to be maybe as explicit with the language.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure if this is going to follow her. But are you just promoting chapels, or are you promoting mobile ministers as well, officiants?
Primarily our listings, we promote chapels, hotels, but in a lot of the content, we promote any business associated or any element of the wedding. So, for example, we have a tool called Venue Selector. So that is obviously just related to any location with an address that we can drive through. And that's the deals tool I mentioned. It would need some sort of website that it can drive it to. But if you have an offer, we are, for anyone that's not like a chapel, a hotel, or a venue, we are going to be creating a pod of every other offer. So as we collect the wedding month offer, so for example, if there's a DJ booth offer, a photo booth offer, any other wedding business, we're going to populate all those in that pod so we could still be driving traffic and putting those ideas out there. So yes, those are the first ones that come to mind because we're trying to drive people to just make their booking here. But we will have a pod there for all the other businesses so we can at least have a listing of them.
Give them an option. Because not everybody wants to go to the chapel. Some people want to go just wherever they want to go.
Exactly.
So then that's
yeah.
where we come in.
Exactly. And then, yeah, so we still promote destinations. Like we promote Red Rock Canyon, right? Like there's not there's different, you have to get the state permit and you go somewhere and you bring your officiant. So yeah, we definitely can update those content and then put a list of, officiant resources. So that way it's like, all right, well, I want to get married at Valley of Fire. I need to get an officiant, or is there an officiant ready to go for me? So yeah, we don't, and you bring up a good point. We still promote those offsite locations, so to say, where you would still need an officiant to come.
Okay.
Getting close. Yeah, so make sure that you give your package. The key thing is if it's on the LVCVA site, you have to have a website that, you have to have some place for the couple to go. You can't do a phone number. So make sure your business is, licensed and bonded. And again, if you join the chamber, that's another tool that you can use to promote your businesses, because we know these are legitimate businesses that are licensed and bonded, and will take care of you and have experience in Las Vegas. I guess we have a question about virtual weddings on Zoom, and that is not legal in Nevada. So no, you have to be in person. You have to come down to the Marriage License Bureau in person. You have to be in front of the officiant in person in the state of Nevada. So no, we're not promoting Zoom weddings. We're promoting people to come here, have fun, and have a great time and get married. And then I just wanted to emphasize the 5 million love stories. So after Wedding Month, we're going to be announcing the 5 million love stories, which will be promoting the special event that we were talking about. But again, we want you to reach out to your couples and tell them, send us your story. What is your love story? So reach out to your couples and tell them to participate. And as part of that, we're working with historians. We want to log these we want to archive these stories and, find out who got married here, what did they do, what happened to their lives afterwards, who are these people, and how did Las Vegas impact their lives. So this is a really exciting project from those stories that we'll get, hopefully mostly from the chapels and officiants who will reach out to their previous couples. We'll get stories and great couples that we can promote on media and social media. From those stories, we're going to select one couple a month that we will highlight again and tell their story, and they will be invited on an all-expense-paid trip back to the signature event at Caesars. So it's going to be a great year. We want you to participate. If you have any questions, obviously just let us know. But we want you to be a big part of this as well, because you are what make us the wedding capital of the world too. It's the couples who come to you. So any other questions?
Lynn, since we're having this meeting and people are here, I want to bring up an issue that I have at many different chapels about people not having all the 3 pieces of the license. And what is the actual law? And what are the penalties for us as officiants and ministers if we don't have those pieces? Because I find that there's a lot of, I've had a lot of problems with it. Because I'm trying to follow the law.
The law states that you shall not perform the wedding without the 3 pieces of paper. That's the law. It said after the mission, it starts out after you receive the documentation, then this is all the other requirements. But it's very clear that they need the 3 pieces of paper. If they've lost the paper or one piece and they come back before the ceremony, we can recreate that. If they wait till they did the ceremony, well, first of all, it may or may not be legal. Someone could take them to court. If they decided at a later time that they wanted to, maybe their kids want their estate, who knows why. You don't want to get caught in that. It's very clear in the law that they have to have the 3 pieces of paper. If we do this gold certificate or the silver certificate, they don't have to have that. But those 3 pieces of paper, which are a copy of the license, the marriage certificate that you file, and the keepsake that you file has to be in front of you before you perform the ceremony. That's just the way it is.
I don't get that. Lynn, one more thing. I just really want you to say what the penalty is for us.
If I find that out, you can lose your license, yes, because you're not following the law. We want to make sure that these marriages are legal and hold up in court. There's a number of reasons that you want that. If people want to come and just pretend to get married, that's one thing. But if they go through all this, they want to be married. Maybe they change their mind a week later. We've had someone who came, wanted to remarry, their certificate was never filed, their marriage was never necessarily legal. She wanted to remarry, she didn't know how to do it. And I don't know what happened to her, actually, because if you can't find the certificate, you can't get a divorce. So if you can't get a divorce, then how do you marry a second time? Then she could be a bigamist. Maybe her husband comes back afterwards and says, hey, I had the paper, now you're in jeopardy. So we want these marriages to be rock solid, whether they end in divorce or whether they end in 60 years of bliss, because it really protects the couple. So yes, if I find out that you're marrying people without all the paperwork, you will be called in for a hearing, and if that doesn't solve it, then you will lose your officiant's license, and that's just how it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, here's how I've worked that out.
You're welcome.
I've had the legal department create a document, an affidavit, in which they state that they understand that they've not presented the papers and that the ceremony that's about to be performed is not a legal ceremony. They sign it, a witness on their side signs it, a witness from the salon signs it, and I sign it. And then they get a copy of that affidavit and I get it. I go ahead and do the ceremony. I do not use the word husband or wife or marriage or wedding, and I do not do a legal pronouncement. We do the ceremony. They go back and get their documents. When they bring them back and I have them, I go ahead and do a very short legal ceremony. And if it's the next day, then the next day becomes their legal date. I do not put the first ceremony's date on it. It's the day that they actually got the legal ceremony with the documents.
Correct, and you don't file the original certificate even if they have that with their documents. You only file after they've gotten all 3 pieces of paper. That's correct.
After they've given me the license and we do a short legal ceremony.
Yeah, you can do a mock ceremony, and again, have them come back and just do a 3-minute ceremony with the right documentation. And again, the dates have to match. We can't file a certificate that was signed before they got their legal license. So don't file it. And that's exactly the way to do it. So you can do a mock ceremony if everybody's there and then say this isn't real and I can't file it. You need to go get the paper and come back. And again, if they already got their paperwork, so they're only missing 1 piece, if they come before the ceremony, we will reissue it. Polly, do you want to talk about that?
Actually, we won't reissue 1 document. They have to bring all 3 back if there's a correction, but if something's missing, they do need to buy a whole new license. Because if it was the certificate that's missing and we reissue another certificate, now there's 2 certificates floating out there. Yeah, so we can't do that. But is there one of the 3 that you're finding they're missing? Which one is it? So I almost wonder if it's because they're fancy and they want to keep it, since we've been doing the... Yeah.
They have to match. Am I correct? They leave, go home, that's all they have is
and it's
That's
not
correct.
legal.
That's correct.
Another question? Go ahead.
Let
her go?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
She has 1 question.
What we find is that the issuing of the license, they are told, this is your keepsake, it is not legal, it doesn't mean anything. They interpret that to mean they don't need to bring it. Even though if they're told, later, you bring the whole package and let your people choose it, it doesn't happen. So
Okay, we'll make sure
to-
that the clerks say you need to have all 3 pieces of paper. We'll just have them
I mean, yeah, it
emphasize
needs to
that
be really
again.
clear because that
Sure.
happens more often than we might think.
Okay, yeah.
And if you
Good note.
If you do have problems like this, call me and we can get this addressed with the clerks. We can address it with the clerks and make sure that this doesn't happen.
Go now. I just wanted to ask Lynn, how, and I wanted to say hi as well. In 2000, and this is just a general question, I wanted to ask it before we closed. You were going to work, or we had asked during a meeting, would you guys create a template for the computer that we could type the...
We are working on it.
You're still working on it?
I'm
Okay.
still working on it. It's on our whiteboard. It hasn't gotten further than that yet. But actually, we're hoping that maybe in 2022 we'll be able to do that. We are not there yet.
I understand, because you have to have the margin just right. Well, I've been doing them since 2005, and I've been typing mine because you want them to have not only a great wedding, but you want them to have their certificate in in nice order as well. So I do type them. I wanted to ask that also the paperwork that you get when they go down and apply for their license, the information is in the packet. And I just don't know why people just don't read it. It said the person that's going to perform it, they should be in possession of those 3 forms, period. We did a wedding a couple of days ago, Monday actually, and the lady wanted the certificate. She said that they wanted to put it in the safe at the church. And I said, well, you can do what you want to do, but I'm going to follow the rule because it would be on us and not on you. But just read the paper. So I screenshotted and sent it. She said, well, they must have changed that. I said, no, ever since we've been doing this since 2005, it ain't changed. So if it did, I missed that memo. And so, but I wanted to ask that, and I did also ask the one that came up to do the presentation for the LVCVA. And I didn't hear anything about referring different ones that wanted a referral to the church. And so the church is not included in that as far as if they need officiant. You said chapel, and you said, but I didn't hear them say, because somebody may just want to have a traditional church wedding and wanted to know.
So the LVCVA promotes businesses, and churches typically aren't considered a business. If you are making money from weddings, you need to get a business license and do a website like that. We don't really promote religious, ceremonies for people within their congregation. That's really a different kind of thing than what we're talking about. So Ramon can address whether they want to do churches, but that's not really the function of the LVCVA or what we're trying to do, which is bring in destination weddings. Because if the church is making a business of it, then they need to go that route as well, right?
I just have one more question. What is the guideline as far as, like, if somebody gets married today and we have the paperwork, we take it down, we turn it in to get filed, and then later on tonight or tomorrow they call and say, can I change my mind? How does that work? Is there?
That is, we do get that, and we get them arguing over it, but if they've gone through the ceremony, again, it's legal. So you are required to file that certificate. And then they can get it annulled, they can do whatever they want, but we've done our job, which is the state and, ensuring that all the things are done correctly. So no, even if 5 minutes later they tell you they don't want to do it, but they did that public vow, it's done. They're married, file it, let them deal with the legal implications later. It's not, we can't do that.
Right. Is there a time frame? Is it
the second that they make those public vows, they've already gotten the paperwork, they're married. The second, if they walk down the aisle and say, I changed my mind, you still file that certificate.
Okay.
And then they have to, there's ways to get annulments, but that's not our job.
Okay.
That's not our job. And, what if one wants it and the other doesn't? And we've had that, we've had people calling, oh, I didn't do it legally. We actually worked in the state. Our foot was on the other side. Can you just pull it back? No, you go to a lawyer. That's not us. Okay. That's not us. That's not you. I think Pastor Pete had a question as well, or a statement.
I have a quick question. Is there any way to put anything on that magical envelope that they get at the clerk's office that says, keep your documents in this envelope until you are married? Because I find that every time somebody takes out their documents, they ruin them, they wrinkle them, or anything else. And whenever I have a couple that wants to get married, I tell them, when you go get your license, keep everything in the envelope. Don't let it get wet, don't let it get bent, don't let it get wrinkled. And thankfully, I haven't had too many problems. But if we could put something on that magical envelope, that would be really great.
We have talked about, obviously once in a while we've printed with fun things. It's quite expensive for us to print, which is why we don't do it very often on the envelope. So it's easier for us to print it on that piece of paper. We do tell them, you tell them, they're excited, they're gonna take it out. We would not just print that on the envelope. We'd maybe do something extra special and then include that. But again, they don't look at it. They don't read it. You know what it is. They're all excited. They don't really hear what you say. Sometimes they don't even spell their own names right. So, no matter what you tell them, it's never going to be 100%. We try. But yeah, we wouldn't take the expense of printing that on the envelopes because it's actually quite expensive for us.
I'll see what I can do about signage in the lobby about that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Good morning. Also, good morning to the greatest clerk Clark County has had. My question, though, is regarding what you just said. The moment they say, I do, but until the minister signs the license, it's not legal, correct?
Let me get back to you on that. I've never had that question. Well, I'd have to ask the DA.
Because I remember one time you or one of your assistants said, do not sign the legal license. You can sign the keepsake one, but not the legal one until after the wedding. Because if they're coming down the aisle, you've already signed it. They're coming down the aisle. They changed their mind. They're married, right?
Well, they haven't had a ceremony yet if they're still coming down the aisle.
No, he's saying after the ceremony, they say, I do. I now pronounce you man and wife. I think legally they're married.
But you haven't signed it yet.
I know. I'll ask my
Please
DA.
find out.
That I would have to do a little research.
If a couple shows up and they claim they're legally married in another state or another lifetime or whatever, but they do not have any documentation. I have a waiver that said they are married, the date, the city, and they sign it. That should be legal, should they claim that I married them.
Yes, that would, protect yourselves. Again, sometimes, we know that not all marriages work out. Sometimes people are quite acrimonious by the time they get divorced. Protect yourself, do everything by the book, and file everything on time. Do everything by the book. Don't let the couple sway you, because it puts you potentially in the middle of an acrimonious divorce. If they say, well, we got married in Arizona, we actually had the ceremony in Arizona, you don't want them to be able to say that. You don't want them to be able to say, well, he didn't actually declare us man and wife. Do it by the book. It just saves you. And, it's not that complicated. Protect yourself by doing everything as close to the letter of the law as you can. And then if there's any questions or problems like that, give us a call immediately so that we can consult our DA as well if there's any question. So, we are a resource for you, and take advantage of that. We want to be a resource and answer any questions that you might have as soon as we can, so that you are protected as well.
So that would bring up the second part of this part of the question, and that is a couple who during this pandemic went out and got married wherever, but they do not want the family to know they've been married. So again, we have this waiver that says they are married, this is not legal, this is for show, but it's also, the family doesn't know. So that waiver should still be a legal document. If they sign it, the minister signs it and dates it.
And you have that in your records. Yeah. That's what I would do, exactly something like that. That protects you, that they knew. Obviously, you can have private conversations with the couple without their family around, so that if there's something like that, you can do that. I would not pronounce them man and wife. I would work around
Call them by
that.
their first names.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
then the last thing is what was discussed earlier. Oh, we forgot our license, or we took certain pages out. If they sign another waiver that said they were stupid, they're getting married anyways, but no, they lost the paperwork, they forgot it, they took it out, we should be able to do a keepsake ceremony if they signed this waiver and says, we forgot the paperwork, we're coming back later today, which I really received first time working at one of the hotels, that they had this form that the people had to sign. That again should be legal. And to answer the question of one of the people up here.
No, that would be not legal. It would protect you, but it would be not legal, is what you're saying.
Right, that's what I meant, I'm sorry. But the one lady, or somebody had a question regarding this. This is a legal document, just like a will, just like a house sale, just like any other legal document. So therefore, somebody said there was coffee stains. I had tire marks on one license. I says, I can't fill this out because it's not legal there. And it had coffee stains, crumpled, hand it back to them. Now, they've spent $20,000 to go to a country club. Well, that's their fault, that not filling it out properly. Correct?
Correct, and we wouldn't file, if it's too mutilated, we won't file it. I don't know how many of you had that experience, but yeah, it is a legal document. You're filing with a government agency. It's a federal crime to lie to a government agency, so you could potentially be in that if you say you had the documents and you didn't. So yeah, do it by the book. If the document, again, is not fileable, but you have all 3 copies, the minister can also bring that back and get it replaced. Paula, talk about that a bit.
So what we do like is we like the couple to actually come back. If they come back with all 3 original documents, we will replace them for free. We've had them with candle wax on them. We've had people dump bottles of wine on them. We had one that was in a house fire. So if the couple comes and brings all 3 documents back, we will replace them for free. But they can't be filled out. They have to be the blank papers. It can't look like they've already had a ceremony.
I've got a couple questions from online. I want to get to those. Okay. So just as a reminder, this meeting is being videotaped. It will be available online. We'll put it on our YouTube channel, and everyone will also get a copy of the presentations. It will be emailed to them. So the first question from online is, Lynn, please address who is required to perform same-sex marriages, specifically as it relates to religious officials.
So there's, as we talked about before, there's religious ceremonies and there's legal ceremonies. There's, if you are a business, then you are required to conduct same-sex ceremonies. It doesn't matter what your personal religious beliefs are, you're conducting a business and you're marrying people under a business. That means if you're taking any kind of money or gift or anything like that, then that's a business relationship, and you are required by law and by my office to perform same-sex couples. If you have a couple within your parish or your, whatever your church is, and they want to get married and your religion says that they shouldn't be married, the church has that authority to say no. But not if you have turned your business or your church into a business. Like, there's not very many, but if they're soliciting outside couples to get married and making some money for that, then now it's become a business, and so then they have to follow the business laws. Is that pretty clear?
Thank you. And then the next question is regarding witnesses. what is the number of witnesses that are allowed, and please speak to whether or not the witness needs to be present.
Yes, so we've kind of changed the form so you can put up to 2 witnesses, have space for up to 2 witnesses. Legally, you only need 1. Sorry, just my phone just rang. So you only need 1, but we've left space so that you can have up to 2. And typically you want this, that's because if you want your 3-year-old daughter to be a witness or your 90-year-old mother to be a witness. Typically, we don't really need the second one, only if there's some reason that you want that personally. And remember, as Pastor Pete said, this is a legal document filed with a state agency, so you need to make sure that it's bulletproof in case you go to court. This is all romantic, but you're filing something that is legal and legally binding. And so if the 3-year-old daughter can't testify in court what happened because she doesn't know, she doesn't understand it, then she's not really a valid witness. It doesn't say they have to be 5 or 10 or 15. It just it needs to be somebody who could testify in court as to what they saw, because this is, again, a legal document that has legal implications. So that's what the witness is for, and that's the restrictions, is to make sure that they have the ability to know what happened and to be able to recount what happened if something came up where they needed to testify in court.
And my understanding is the witness needs to be in the room at the time.
Yes, it's all in person. We have no virtual. You can have as many people watching virtually as you want, but that would not be a legal witness, no. The minister has to be in there. The minister can't be in another room. The witness has to be in that room watching the ceremony, and the couple has to be, both people have to be present. So there only has to be 4 people. More than that is great, but you only need those 4 people. And typically, don't let your witness sign the certificate, because we need to know who it is. So just you write it down. They can sign the keepsake if they want, but you need to write down so you know it's legible.
Regarding the legality of the license, I learned this the hard way. You cannot white out printed information, such as the word witness cannot be whited out, or the line underneath there cannot be whited out. What I did was I made a template that would go over and just have a square open where the license witness prints their name, preventing them from going over the line, preventing them from covering up a word or 2. So, FYI, make yourself a template with just the witness square cut out, and place that above the witness, place that above the license where the witness prints their name. If they go over, they're not going over on the legal license document.
So we didn't really spend much time today because I've talked about this numerous times. If any of you are new officiants and are not totally clear how to fill out the form, let me know. What we do is we take a picture, basically. We scan the document you give us and then we print it on the certificate. So that's why we are very strict about the borders. You have to stay within the borders. It can't look forged. I mean, we got a forgery that was amazing last month from somebody that was scamming. Actually took probably a license from 2004 that was $15, modified it. It looked so real to anybody that didn't understand, what our license is. Charged a lady $15,000 to get this license. It was all virtual. Forged my name, forged everything. Set up an email account, Lynn at lynngoya.com to communicate with this person, and built her out of tens of thousands of dollars. So that's why we're really strict about the the document and that you can't white things out or any, so so we're very clear that this is our document and not somebody else's. And, you know, it's not just because we're picky, it's because we want to protect you and the couple. But yeah, there's bad people out there, and we don't want to give them any opportunity to, you know, use our tools to rob people. What a happy note to end. Any more questions? It was so nice to see your faces, even half your faces again. I have missed these meetings. I always find them really valuable. I really appreciate your questions and your comments. And happy holidays for everyone. Oh, one more question, sorry. Oh, Ramon, we'll put it on the PowerPoint so that and Ramon, we can give them your PowerPoint as well? Yeah. Yeah, and thank you, Ramon, for coming. I appreciate it very, very much.
And really quick, if you haven't filled out the update form, please fill it out. I did print an old form, so near the middle it asked for your church. Go ahead and ignore that one, but if you filled out your form, give it to Carolina on the way out, please.